As an artist, I think that it is important to not just make things that are just like the things that you like, or just like something that somebody else has already made. I feel that if you really are an artist, then you should be able to make something that is not necessarily or quote unquote original, but you should be able to make something that hasn't quite been done before. Like they say, there's no original idea under the sun. Everything has already been done. But that's they just that's a saying. That's not 100% true. Like, for example, The Little Mermaid has existed as a story since, like, I don't know, maybe the 19th century or something. But Ponyo, Ponyo wasn't a thing before that. It is a spin on the Little Mermaid, and spins on the Little Mermaid have been done before Ponyo, but none of them were Ponyo. Sorry, I got off on a tangent there. But my point is, I was I was just washing my hands and I was thinking about I guess how I could push the medium of animation forward, and how I could do something original. Come up with my own style, my own just way of doing things, branding, my own branding, if you will, all that kind of stuff. And a lot of times I'll tell myself when I'm drawing or animating something, I'm like, gosh, I see stuff on a regular basis that is like that I'm just not capable of doing. I'm good, but I'm not like a master at anything. So I say to myself, I want to be able to make something that's as good as the stuff that people make that I like. But I don't think that I should concern myself too much with trying to make something like they made, trying to make something that is good in all the same ways that what they made was. I say to myself, back in the day, when guys like Walt Disney and all them, the Fleischer brothers, all those guys were like making cartoons and stuff, right? And nobody else was doing that kind of stuff really. And I'm like, they were doing all that, and there was no precedent for what they were doing. There was no standard established for how clean all your lines should be, how smooth the animation should be, how solid the drawing needs to be, all that stuff. There was no precedent at the time. There wasn't, almost 100 years of people making this stuff like I'm living in now. So they didn't have to worry about whether or not their animations were good enough for people to pay attention to. And so I see all the stuff that people have made in the past, stuff that people make today, and I'm like, if I'm not making something that's as good as that, then what is the value in what I'm doing? I came to the conclusion while I was washing my hands. I said, so I try to get into the heads of like the pioneers of animation. And this can apply to anything that, besides animation. It's anything where you're trying to come up with new ideas and stuff that are your own. And I try to get into the heads of, the OGs so that I can become as good as them by learning in the same kinds of ways that they did and gaining experience as I continue to practice and just make more stuff, make bigger, more ambitious stuff. Then I said, why don't I take that a step further? What if, instead of just trying to get into their heads, what if I went back? No, imagine that right now, animation has never been done before. Nobody else has ever done the stuff that I do. Then I go, now I'm the only one who's doing this. So whatever I do will be good enough. And then I can just continue my work in mental peace. Yes. But also, as I continue and continue to develop my own ways of doing things, then the animation that I will have pioneered will become something totally different from the animation we know now. It could like potentially just spawn a whole new art form or just evolve into one or something. And I'm like, that would be so sick. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I kind of wanted to record this one so that I could, share my idea. Just to get the idea out there so that people could understand what I'm thinking about this and maybe they could apply this to whatever they do. You know how they say the world is yours. Imagine that you're the only one who does what you do because you are. And then what you do will become its own thing and it will be quote unquote original. But also, I wanted to record this so that I wouldn't forget this myself. It would have just been a passing thought, and I was like, I think this is a really important thing to keep in mind, so I definitely didn't want to lose this idea. This has been a philosophical chat with your boy Tooth.